Okay, so I had the chapters 4 and 5 of Merrill Peterson's The Jefferson Image in the American Mind. And one of the things I thought about at first was Charles Beard's speech at the 200th anniversary of Jefferson's birth at UVA in 1943, I believe. How he was championing Jefferson as this man who stood for education and believed in the equality of women, supported the sciences and the arts. I thought that it was really interesting. I never made the connection of the idea of Jefferson throughout the ages, and considering this is, of course, after the time assigned to me in this book, I found it very interesting how it all still connects. So chapter 4 kind of begins with the pre-Civil War tensions going on. Obviously, you have slavery and abolitionism, which Peterson covers, basically talking about how the North and the South sought justification through Jefferson for their cause, either for or against slavery. You had the South championing the ideas of states' rights, personal property rights, and they were basically trying to claim that they were the true Republican ideals, of course, thinking agrarianly. And then you have the North, who was focusing on the natural idea of equality for slaves, kind of deriving this from the Declaration of Independence. However, the negative side to that was the fact that Jefferson never embraced the idea of equality, especially regarding his slaves. And in order to kind of combat that, the abolitionists revived the Sally Hemings rumors, which I found interesting. I never realized that this revival happened because of the Civil War debates that were going on. Then he kind of changes it to how the abolitionists had began calling Jefferson the father of free soil, and how all of this kind of started with the draft of the Northwest Ordinance that supposedly Jefferson had banned slavery. However, this wasn't true and led to a lot of debates, and eventually it started to blow over, and this is when the Republican Party rose to champion the image of Jefferson. So, as the Civil War came, both of these sides were championing Jeffersonian ideals, and it led to this war. So there was a contrast with the experience of the rise of Hamiltonian ideas instead of Jefferson. We'll give it a few years, and leading up to the 20th century, this is now chapter 5, where Peterson starts looking at the revival of Jefferson, how biographers were starting to write about him again, including his great-granddaughter, Sarah Nicholas Randolph. And William Thornton, with his book Who Was Jefferson, tries to reconcile these ideas being brought about. Either Jefferson was simple or Jefferson was elaborate. But he claimed that Jefferson was influenced both by birth and through his early environment by patrician and plebeian ideals. And so he kind of reconciled this simple and elaborate, saying that Jefferson was both. Then we get into the Democratic Party re-embracing this idea of Jefferson, with making him their hero, starting to throw celebrations for his birthday, and tried to poise itself for political success. Well, incidentally, the Republican Party started throwing anti-Jefferson days, which I found hilarious, because you see the Republican Party today celebrating Jefferson. And the Democrats also started applying Jeffersonian ideals to the quality of economics, which immediately brought me back to the Charles Beard speech, especially since he's considered socialist nowadays. Well, he closes out this chapter looking at the Spanish-American War, and it kind of takes you back to the pre-Civil War debates where now they were debating over republic or empire, with the Declaration of Independence championing self-government, with the Louisiana Purchase championing imperial expansion.